asked 100 FPL experts for their Game Week 12 transfer moves, captains and chip strategies, so you guys can follow along with the expert trends every single game week. Welcome to FPL Mate, my name is Dan, and if you've got a few injury problems in your team ahead of Game Week 12, believe me, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable with the decisions you need to be making this game week by the end of this video. We have got a whole load of data this week with almost all of our experts making transfer moves this week. So it's quite a crazy week indeed, guys, and looking forward to sharing this with you after what seems like a very long international break. So a massive shout out to the 100 FPL experts who helped us out by volunteering their data this game week. Let's see what they're up to. So in Game Week 12, we see an enormous 52% of our experts making just one transfer this week. So for most of you guys, it's going to be a similar situation, one transfer to make ahead of this deadline. However, there are a few experts making multiple transfers as well. 26% are making 2 transfers this week, and 10% are making 3 transfers as well, using up some of those free transfers that have been saved up. Remember, guys, we are going to be topped up to 5 free transfers in Game Week 16. So you need to make sure you are using those transfers between now and then. There's no point in holding on to them for a rainy day. If you need to use them, just use them. We see 4% of our experts using a wild card this week as well, and just 8% making no transfer this week. Game Week 12. So a really low amount of our experts are making no transfers. This is one of the lowest we've seen since starting this season, this series. Sorry. Yeah, really, we expect to see at least 20% of experts making no transfers in each given game week, but this is exceptional circumstances, and I'm sure you guys kind of understand why. Looking at some of those chips, guys, we see 2% of our experts using the bench boost this week. I think maybe more were planning a bench boost in Game Week 12, but maybe plans scuppered by all of the new injuries that we're seeing over the international break. Just one person using the triple captain chip, and we do see 4% of our experts using their wildcard chip. I think we'll see a few more next game week on the wildcard, to be honest. So next week, we could see wildcards free hits come into play a little bit more, but again, we are running out of game weeks until we lose our chips as well. Up till game week 19, we need to use these guys. So yes, this indeed is the trends, the general trends. Let's go further in detail and look at some of the players that are moving around. Starting off with the overall player base transfer trends. Who are the most popular picks for Game Week 12? And it's Brian Mbeumo, number 1, almost 400,000 transfers in for him so far. I'm sure that will go up. We see Thiago as the second most popular transfer hit as well, followed by players like Mateta, Doku, and Rice. However, for a lot of these players, there's actually not too much trend for our experts. So yes, our experts, they love Mbeumo, they love Munoz, as we will soon see when we look at the transfers in page for this video, but also a little bit of love being shown to Thiago and O'Reilly, as well as Urian Timber, who was already pretty popular among experts. No new transfers in for Mateta. He is already heavily owned, so very little movement for him. No new transfers for Doku, no new transfers for Rice. Yeah, absolutely zero interest in either of these players among experts. Doku, in particular, a player not owned by experts. Experts aren't interested in him whatsoever. I know he's super popular in the overall player base, but the top managers going into this Christmas period, where we're going to see a lot of fixtures, a lot of rotation, they're not going to be playing games with Jeremy Doku. And actually, there's a couple of players here who are actually being sold by experts. So Joao Pedro and Caicedo are both actually being sold this game week by experts. No one's buying them, but a few are selling them. So that is definitely something to make note of. And I think this maybe presents an opportunity. I love these game weeks where the experts in the overall player base disagree, because that often means that we are going to have an opportunity to gain on the overall player base, because the experts typically know what they're doing. They'll typically get green arrows. They'll typically score loads of points. That's what we kind of see usually. So yeah, big opportunity. And by the way, guys, the number 1 most transferred in player for Game Week 12 among experts is not even on this page, as you will soon see. So let's check out the transfers out, and this should come as no surprise to you guys whatsoever. Gabriel, it looks like he is going to be out for at least a month. That could see him out all the way until January. He's going to miss a whole load of game weeks if the rumors are true, and it seems like they probably are going to be true. Maybe we'll get some confirmation in the very near future. You may already have received that confirmation by the time you watch this video. But yeah, as such, our experts are selling Gabriel en masse, and 70 plan to sell him this week out of the 90 owners that we saw from last game week. So that is a significant amount of experts planning to remove Gabriel in this game week. And now, of course, the experts, they often do tell me when they are saying, okay, this is what my plans are. They will often say, okay, I'm just waiting for confirmation. I'm just waiting for some final news. And maybe with some of these other players that are being sold, there may be more news being waited for. For example, Semenyo. It is now believed that he is going to be available for game week 12, and maybe that his suspected injury was an elaborate ruse for him to propose to his girlfriend, which I know sounds crazy, but yeah, he was sent home from international duty, and the next day he proposed to his, well, now fiance. So maybe there's been a bit of a trickery involved there for Semenyo, but still, we are seeing a few transfers out for him. And I think even if he was fully available, fully fit, not flagged, we probably would still see a few transfers out for Semenyo since he was so heavily owned last game week. So let's move on to some of these other players anyway. Pope. Interestingly, a lot of experts are selling Pope this week, and they're looking to move to Raya and Allison, really, as the kind of replacements for him. Going down the list, we've got Reinders, Voltamada, and Njai. Pretty heavily owned players anyway. They are being sold. Not too many people own the likes of Eza and Gordon, but those who do have these players are selling them. So if you do have these players in your team, might be worth looking at removing. And we've got a couple of Chelsea boys here as well. Caicedo, 2 transfers out for him. And Enzo Fernandez, owned by 51, and 2 will be transferring him out. So the majority of Enzo owners will be keeping him, the vast majority, but still a couple of FPL experts a little bit worried about his minutes going into this Burnley fixture with Enzo not fully fit right now. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Again, when we get more information towards the deadline, again, these kind of things could change a little bit closer, and maybe we see more Enzo transfers out, more or less Semenyo transfers out. And if there's any other surprises, then of course we'll have to deal with them as they come our way as well. So those are the transfers out. I'm sure you guys are very keen to see who is being transferred in as the replacement for a loss of these players. But before we do that, guys, make sure you do check out the award-winning Lazy FPL newsletter. It is my favorite newsletter when it comes to FPL. It is 100% free, a 5-minute read each game week, 24 hours before the deadline, and basically just gives you a refresher, a catch-up on all of that key FPL information you may have missed throughout the week. If you like the sound of that and you want to join over 100,000 FPL managers who are already subscribed, make sure you use the link in the description to sign up to the Lazy FPL newsletter using my link. I'll put a QR code on screen as well for you guys, and if you do, then you're going to get that free newsletter completely free. All you need is an email address. You just go onto the page, enter your email address, and you're signed up. It is so simple, so easy. You don't need to enter a password or anything like that, and you get this information delivered to your email inbox every single week. It's so useful. I'm subscribed. So many other experts are subscribed. Get involved with the fun. So let's check out these transfers in, and hopefully we're going to provide a lot of solutions to your problems this week with this list of players. So of course, the #1 Gabriel replacement is going to be Virgil van Dijk. 47 transfers in for him. He was owned by just 6% of experts last week, so a huge increase in his ownership. That is a really big number. We don't see numbers this large very often on the transfers in page, but what we have here really is an example of our experts, for the most part, being very much aligned in agreement of who the best Gabriel replacement is going to be for you guys. So that's really, really good to see such a strong trend, and gives us a really clear answer, or of at least what the sensible solution is. But I appreciate not all of you guys are sensible. So let's have a look through some of the other players. But do just want to know, again, going into this busy fixture schedule in December in particular, we are going to be looking for those nailed on players. The experts are going to be looking for those nailed on 90 minutes, never rotated, because even those players who you think are are fairly nailed on right now, are pretty good for minutes right now, when it comes to December, most of them won't be. And there's only a few amount of those golden players, those diamond players really, who are genuinely no risk of rotation, and Virgil is going to be one of those players. And I think that's going to be a real edge coming into this this fixture period ahead of the crowd, really. So looking through some of these other players, and Burmo, few more transfers in for him, 12 in fact. He is going to be pushed up to 39% owned among experts, so pretty significant there. Also, Munoz, another 39%er ahead of Game Week 12 with 9 new transfers in for him. He is going to be the second most popular replacement for Virgil, interestingly. We've got some other players here as well. Szoboszlai, for example, 7 transfers in. He was only actually owned by 2% of experts last week. So I think this is maybe the beginning of the time to start bringing in some Liverpool players, because you've seen Virgil, you've got Szoboszlai, we've got Konate on this list as well. Thiago is the most popular forward to bring in here. No surprise there. Jurrien Timber with more transfers in for him. I'm sure if he was less owned, then he would be a very popular transfer in as well for that Gabriel replacement. We've got Konate in here as well. 4 transfers in for him, up from 0. Lacroix was a player I wasn't really expecting to see on this list, but yeah, he is being transferred in by 4 of our experts as well. And we've got O'Reilly. No interest last week. I know O'Reilly seems to be very popular in the overall player base. A few of our experts are going that way, but yeah, just 3, so not a really strong trend here. And Cunha, I know some people like the look of Cunha for this game week as well. A few of our experts are going to be going for him as well. So a few differentials in there, but also some really nice strong trends, particularly when we're looking at the likes of Virgil and Burmo, Munoz, Szoboszlai, Thiago, even Jurrien Timber. These are those strong trend players that I think are very easy transfers in this week if you are looking to make a move. So with that said, we have got some changes to the template. And by the way, guys, the average Game Week 11 score among experts was 43.6 points. Let me know if you beat that score in Game Week 11 or not, if you can even remember that far away. Average current rank right now is 858k. So again, a green arrow for experts. Very nice. We now see over a half of our experts in the top 1 million rank, and up to 8% now of our experts are in the top 100k as well. So we're seeing these numbers go up every week, and like I say, it's going to be a really interesting period. And I think with so many fixtures, with so much happening, with more injuries, more suspensions, more people picking risky players, and our experts kind of going for those solid players, I think we could see some movement in the upcoming game weeks. I think we're going to see some really nice movement. So, yeah, looking at the template, not really too much change in the goalkeeper department. Small increase for Raya. In terms of the defense, that is where the biggest shakeup has been. When you see such a heavily owned player as Gabriel kind of being booted from the template, you are going to see a big shake-up here. So Senesi's still on top, but Virgil is the new entry, jumps straight in and is automatically the second most popular defender among experts. And now we have 3 39%ers in our defense here. Richards, Timber, and now Munoz entering the fray as the most popular defenders among experts now. So very interesting stuff there. A little bit of change for Semenyo. He does drop down indeed. Saka are small increases. Enzo is a small decrease. He's going to be under 50% owned now. And Njai is kind of hanging on by a thread in this template, because there's a lot of other midfielders that are kind of slowly creeping up the high 30% owned among experts. And I think Njai, probably within the next couple of game weeks, is going to be out of the expert template, because he is trending downwards right now. So you guys gonna maybe try and get ahead of that one or be aware of that one. Just something to note. Haaland, no change. Mateta, small increase. And Voltemada, he has lost a bit of ownership. Just like Njai, he is hanging on by a thread in this template. And I think we're going to see Njai, we're going to see Voltemada. They're going to be out of the expert template very, very soon, and going to be replaced by the likes of Thiago, maybe Mbermo, maybe Bruno Fernandes, these kind of guys. Maybe even Szoboszlai could make a run for the template in the near future. We'll have to wait and see if we see many more Liverpool players. But there is actually more to talk about when it comes to Liverpool players, when it comes to captaincy. But before that, let's make some transfer suggestions. Okay, so in terms of those Gabriel replacements, it seems pretty straightforward. I've just picked out the 3 most popular transfers in those 3 most popular Gabriel replacements for among experts, and that is going to be Virgil, Munoz, and Timber. So If you are looking for a very straightforward solution to Gabriel, obviously Virgil is your guy, but Munoz and Timber are alternatives there. If you already have Virgil in your team, or if you simply don't fancy him, that is absolutely fine. In terms of those Semenyo replacements, if you do want to replace Semenyo, I think Burmo is actually a pretty nice upgrade there. Szoboszlai is maybe an alternative move if you do want to free up some budget for whatever other reason. And if you want to move Voltemada to Thiago, a few of our experts are doing that as well. But equally, you know, if you've got someone like Jared Bowen in your team who you're not happy with, moving him to Thiago is also going to be an option for you. So those are your transfer suggestions based on the expert data, which means we can check out the captains, most popular captains. There is something interesting here that I do want to talk about. First of all, let's look at Haaland. He is once again the most popular captain, even in a difficult fixture away against Newcastle. It seems that it's very difficult to take away the captain's armband from Haaland, certainly among these experts. But 69 captains for him, that is a lot, but, you know, this is far from unanimous. It's far from unanimous now. You know, just under a third of experts will be going differential, will be betting against the Norwegian man this game week. So maybe that is something you could consider doing, just maybe, because Newcastle away is genuinely a tough fixture. So it could be time to bet against, particularly if you're unhappy with your rank right now. In second place, we have Saka, 10 captains for him at home against Tottenham, with Mateta in third with 8 captains for him against Wolves. Really nice fixture for Mateta, by the way, but can he be better than Haaland, even in a vastly superior fixture? I guess we'll have to wait and see there. Salah is, I think, the most interesting player on this list because, yes, he is only being captained by 5 experts, but actually only 6 of our experts own him. So his captain rate is 83%. So that's actually higher than Haaland's 70% captain rate, which does suggest to me that if you do have Salah, then maybe he's the man to captain rather than Haaland. Don't know, just a little bit of food for thought for you guys there if you do have Salah in your team, or if you're maybe like, I don't know, on a wild card or a free hit, or, you know, maybe even thinking about bringing in Salah using transfers. Could be a captain option, could be a way to bet against Haaland. And outside of that, we got a few kind of minimal trends here. Joao Pedro and Burmo Semenyo, 2 captains armbands on each of those players, and just 1 on Cunha and 1 on Bruno Fernandes to finish the list of today. But as always, guys, if you are looking to play things very simply this week, it is once again a boring Captain Haaland. But there are some other options. There really are some other options. Saka, Mateta, and Salah, if you have him, are definitely standing out as options. These players have decent captain percentages here that are enough for me to say these are trends. These are trends among the top FPL managers, and maybe they are worth going for if you are willing to take a risk. But that's up to you guys. Are you willing to take that risk? And finally, guys, we have the bonus questions. These bonus polls were created on the 100 Experts private Discord server. If you want to get access to the private Discord server, as well as get your team rated in tomorrow night's Rate My Team stream, we rate all of the teams of all members at the starting 11 tier or above. Make sure you do sign up. Starting 11 tier or above, members of the channel. You can click the join button, and yeah, you will be a member. You will get access to the private chat for the experts, and yeah, you will be able to join me on stream tomorrow evening when we're going to have a look at your team and rate it and see if we can help you out with it. But anyway, looking at these questions, guys, the first question was, if Gabriel is out, who is the best replacement? So forget who you already have in your team. Just a very straightforward answer. Who is probably the player to go for? So number 1 pick, of course, is Virgil. We probably expected that to happen, 68%. In second place, we actually have Arsenal, generic Arsenal defender as a Gabriel replacement. So that's 27% there. Interestingly, and I don't really know how this has happened, but when the poll was created, nobody voted for Crystal Palace, despite Munoz seeming to be pretty popular. So maybe Munoz is more of a player who is being used or being brought in for those who already have Virgil, or, you know, maybe already have Timber in their team. So they don't really have as much access to maybe a Timber or Saliba in their team, for example, and maybe don't want to double up or triple up anymore. For example, I don't know. I don't know why this has happened, but Look, I just posted a poll in the members server, and this is what we got. By the way, only members can reply, can respond to these bonus questions. Of course, we see 5% on other. Who knows who that could be? Maybe Senesi, someone like that. And with our second question was, if Semenyo is out, who is the best replacement there? 65% said Mbermo, not too much surprise there. 15% said Cunha. We also saw 10% said Sarr, if you don't have him already. I know a lot of our experts do. We have Szoboszlai at 5%, so a little bit of interest there. Other 5%, and Doku 0%. So just to reiterate the point, that I know Doku is so popular in the overall player base. I know so many people are buying Doku, thinking about buying Doku, but our experts are not interested in him at all. Not even slightly interested in him, unfortunately, guys. So yeah, wanted to put that bit of information out there. But that is what the experts are saying this game week. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like. It really does help out the channel so much. Do subscribe, and don't forget to check out the Lazy FPL newsletter completely free using that link in the video description. You're not going to regret this one, guys. You are going to get so much extra information you didn't think you needed until you do. You're going to get injury updates, all kinds of stuff like that in that newsletter right when you need it. So check it out, guys, in the description. But until next time, guys, check out another video, and I'll see you later, mates. Bye-bye.